All right, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Just making sure that the audio levels are A-okay. And yeah, I'm just gonna sit here, wait for some people to start coming in. And this is gonna be a good time, like always. I love chatting with people. I love just answering some questions and interacting with the community. So welcome everybody, for those who are here. And I guess to begin, I can lay out a fun fact. I have to take a dump right now, but if I took a dump, I would be late for this live stream. And so I decided that I would hold it and do this instead, because you guys mean more to me than a well-timed shit. So, what a weird way to start this. Alright, so, as I wait for some people, the live chat is still empty. I'm gonna go ahead and actually read a few questions from the Discord servers. And also from the Patreon page. Let's start with the stuff on Patreon. Actually, let me let people know that I am live. Okay, so with that out of the way, I have a question here from Richard Dobson, who probably won't be able to join us, but left a question in my Patreon page. He says, in a time when it seems like every AAA publisher's brand is tarnished, I fear for the industry going into 2018 and onward. Warner Brothers, Ubisoft, EA, obviously, Activision Blizzard, Square Enix, and even Nintendo have dropped a ball in some way this year. While some of these companies will never surprise me when they try to pull a fast one, I'm becoming worried for CD Projekt RED, who seemed incorruptible until recent allegations about employee working conditions. I was wondering if there are any AAA publishers that you believe have held onto their ethics in 2017 and why they have been able to keep that moral high ground where so many others have fallen. That's a great question, and I would say the developers of Pillars of Eternity 2, yes, that's what it's called, right? Pillars of Eternity 2. No, it's not Pillars of Eternity. Divinity, or I was about to say, as I was saying that, I was like, something feels wrong about that. I meant Divinity Original Sin 2. They released this incredible game, full-fledged RPG, isometric, strategic, and it's one of the best RPGs I've ever played, and many seem to agree. Many of the critics who have reviewed this game agree that this is one of the best games on PC ever. And there's none of the bullshit attached. It is just a game that you pay, what, like $40 for, was it? How much is this game? I'm gonna make sure right now. I'm pretty sure it was less than 60. Yeah, it's $45. And you get one of the most incredible games. Everything's there. No bullshit. I believe there's an expansion coming out, so they're trying to obviously make money that way, which is perfectly fine as long as the price of the expansion matches with the amount of content that it offers. But all the cosmetics are there. There's no loot boxes except for, you know, the loot boxes of old, the ones that are designed into the game, the loot chests where, you know, you beat an enemy and a chest drops and you look in there and you get a cool item or whatever. You know, the ones that you didn't have to pay for but were inherent to the game. And yeah, just phenomenal, beautiful game all around. And Larian Studios, the guys who developed this, you know, they just took the moral high ground with this one. And it's funny because these guys probably could use the money more than EA, the multi-billion-dollar EA or Ubisoft or whatever. But because they're not possessed by rampant greed, and so they just, it's clear that the goal that they set out with this game is just to make a good game. And that's really, I think it's that simple, really. It's one of the questions, or part of your question was, and why have they been able to keep that moral high ground where so many others have fallen? You know, I guess they have less pressure from investors and stuff like that. But mainly, I think they're just they're just good people, you know? They're just doing the right thing because they're good people who aren't possessed by greed. I think EA, could achieve a balance. I'm realistically speaking, I don't think microtransactions will ever go anywhere. It's too big of a market at this point. But there is this thing called compromise, and that's something that EA is unwilling to do. And that's kind of really taking them by a storm right now, deservedly so. So, yeah, they need to dial it back down. They need to... It's so clear how greedy they are. And it's become even more apparent over the past couple weeks as I've covered all this EA bullshit. But, yeah, any organization is led by a leader, and that leader defines the direction of a company. So I think it's just EA has a greedy leader, both the CFO, Jorgensen, whatever, and of course CEO Andrew Wilson, who he was the one who really kickstarted the movement towards freemium style loot boxes, the pay to win stuff. Except of course EA's games have that initial price point of $60, which makes it all the more egregious. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. I just think the folks at Larian Studios are good people. Now, as far as CD Projekt Red is concerned, I think their values in terms of, just making a good game for the consumers are there. It's just that I think it's both a combination of a lack of experience in other development studios. Like, they've only known their way of doing things, which is just grind until you die, basically, make this game perfect. And to some degree, that's a good mentality to have. But after Witcher 1, I think they should have adjusted the way they worked things, looked at what worked and what didn't. But from what I've been hearing from not just the two developers, the ex-CD Projekt Red developers that reached out to me, but the people who have reached out to me after I released that video in which I talked about the developers expressing to me their disdain of CD Projekt Red's working environment, nothing's changed. It's been that way forever, and it's coming at the cost of employees' just well-being, mental and physical health. So, I don't think CD Projekt Red is corrupt or anything like that. I just think they're just not managing their studio as well as they could, and it's resulting in a lot of talent leaving the studio. And a lot of people are saying, it doesn't concern me as long as they keep making good games, but over time that will eventually have an effect. All the talent will keep leaving and leaking out if CD Projekt Red doesn't change its ways, and that's the main concern. It's the talent that makes the games, and when the talent goes away, you're left with a studio that might become a shadow of its former self, and that's my concern. And I love CD Projekt Red for the amazing quality of their games, and I love the ambition that's there and the talent, but, if they can improve themselves, it would be better for everyone. So, that's my point there. Richard you mentioned Nintendo. I think they've actually been doing for the most part, a good job in that regard in terms of not being predatory. Zelda Breath of the Wild, complete experience, no questions asked. It was just a full game, and there was nothing to it that made me feel cheated. And, once the season pass got announced, that's when people were a little bit suspicious, but for $20, I think you actually get a lot of content. The first piece of DLC was the Trials dungeon thing, along with a bunch of new items, and they keep rolling out free updates, by the way. Like just now, or just like a week or two ago, they added a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 armor just to celebrate the fact that the game was coming out soon. I think it comes out like tomorrow. They just gave that to you. It wasn't like a pre-order bonus. It wasn't a season pass thing. It wasn't a deluxe edition crap. It was just like, hey, this is a cool little thing we made. Here it is. Also, we got this season pass. We're going to give you a new dungeon, some new story content, and some new stuff that you can... Like, that I can get behind. So, and Mario Odyssey, it's got all these cosmetic elements, and Nintendo didn't charge a single cent for them. You just find them in the game, and it's awesome. to customize Mario the way you want with all these really cute, and some of them are really crazy, outfits. And also, one thing that struck me about Mario Odyssey was its hint system. Basically, after you complete the main parts of a map, a level, Toad will appear in front of your, your ship's spawning location, whatever you want to call it, and you can give him like 50 coins, in-game currency, 50 coins, and he'll just give you the location of one of the power moons that you have to collect in that level. And it's a perfect system because it's not cheating in that you just type in a code and you get everything. You still have to work for that power moon, but you can accelerate your experience. That's the excuse that major publishers use. With loot boxes and microtransactions, we can accelerate your experience. You can accelerate the experience by paying us. Well, in Mario Odyssey, you can do that without paying. You can just drop 50 coins to Toad, tell him, hey, I need a hint as to where my next power moon might be. He'll drop a location, and even then you still have to kind of work for it. You have to go to the location, and sometimes it's not clear-cut exactly where it is. So it's this beautiful balance of you can accelerate the experience, it doesn't cost any extra money, and it's not cheating at the same time. It's just a hint, and it accelerates the experience while still keeping you engaged. So I think Nintendo has been nailing it this year, actually. I don't know, some of the stuff that they did, like with locking hard mode on Metroid, or fusion mode in Metroid Samus Returns behind an amiibo, that stuff was pretty shitty. But, compared to what EA is doing today, over the past few weeks, by comparison, it almost seems innocent. It's not. But EA's is just that much worse. So I think for the most part, Nintendo's been fine. Hopefully Sony will stick to their ways. I hope God of War and Last of Us Part 2 and stuff like that will just be a great single-player experience without egregious bullshit. So, wow, I've spent a lot of time on that one question. I hope that answered that. I've already got some people in the chat, which is awesome. I'm going to just wait for the chat to fill up a little more and answer one more question from the Patreon page. Kenny Jones asks, how likely do you think it is that Anthem shows at least some of the same problems as Destiny and Battlefront 2? Will the current situation with Battlefront 2 lead EA to have BioWare Edmonton change up some of the okay, there's a spelling error here, a typo. Change up some of any microtransaction systems. So if they're going to change any of the microtransaction systems as a result of the Battlefront 2 backlash, absolutely there's going to be some changes in direction in that regard. They're certainly not going to pull a Battlefront 2, at least I certainly hope not, after the amount of attention that garnered with both gaming forums, communities, gaming news websites, major media conglomerates like CNN, CNBC, whatever, and especially after the government is now involved in investigating this stuff and striving towards regulating aspects of it so that it's not so predatory. They're absolutely going to change the direction of Anthem's microtransactions and loot boxes. Will it be enough, though? Hard to say. EA insists that they're not going to give up on their current strategy of uncapped monetization through microtransactions and loot boxes. So that's the question. Are they going to pull back enough? Can they just keep it cosmetic? If they can do that, I still hate the notion of loot boxes, even if it's just cosmetics, but it'll be tolerable, that's a battle for another day. But it's just when it gets to be pay to win like Battlefront 2, that's when you cross that line, and that's when you get backlash at the level that EA has been getting as of late. But yeah, I fear for Anthem, honestly. I on the one hand, I'd like to think that EA will learn their lesson, but over the past few days, especially with their lies about how they didn't make loot boxes cosmetics only because they wanted to preserve the canon, and now today we found out that there's a hidden customization menu within Battlefront 2 that they, failed to disclose, that they were saving for a less rainy day. it's just been lies after lies from EA, just lame excuse after lame excuse. So I don't actually think Anthem's loot box system will be, they'll back off enough that it's, that will be okay with it. I think I have very little hope for Anthem at this point. I think the game, BioWare, I think they're going to build a fantastic game potentially that EA is then going to ruin with all the shit that they're going to have them implement. I think on some level we are going to get loot boxes that aren't cosmetic only, that do have gameplay influence, because that's sort of where, that's the Achilles heel of EA right now. It's where most of their revenue and profit comes from, with FIFA and games, sports titles with Ultimate Team leading the charge. I don't think they're going to back off anytime soon, but we'll see. Maybe as this backlash continues to develop, EA will one day snap out of it. But I think they're too blinded by greed at this point for them to really consider the community backlash. I think they just care about what the investors think. They want to keep the investors happy by saying, hey, no, we're not going to give up on microtransactions, the stuff that's made you guys and us a lot of money. That's the attitude that they're going to approach it as, from what I've seen over the past couple days. They're just fucking idiots, EA. Just whatever. Anyway, that's that. So, to make a long story short, I think, yes, Anthem will change its approach to microtransactions and loot boxes. I just don't think it'll be enough. I think it'll still be on some level pay to win, or something that teeters on that. So, that sucks. But anyway. Alright, so I've got some questions here on the chat. YBEC asks, November 2017, your biggest month yet? You mean from as a YouTuber? Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely been my biggest month. Yeah, 2017 has been a turning point for this channel. It's for the most part, before this year, I've been like getting by YouTubing. Now this is, it's growing at a faster pace than I anticipated. I can honestly say that it's definitely become like a full-time job now, especially with the Patreon support, and, obviously with the ad revenues, the more views you get, obviously the more you earn. And, I'm not going to lie, obviously, because I've gotten so many more views this month, I've been able to actually make more money, which is important because the world revolves around money, and now I'm in a fortunate position where I can upgrade equipment and stuff like that, which is what I've been focused on. I've actually ordered a new PC, and I'll show you guys what that looks like soon. But yeah, this setup right here, it's getting pretty old. Whenever I video edit, especially with 4K footage, it's lagging a lot. With 16 gigs of RAM, it's not enough because I keep like 40 tabs open at a time on Chrome following all this news. That's not an exaggeration. I think I have like 40 tabs open as we speak. So yeah, it's definitely been the biggest month yet, November 2017 for YongYea, and I cannot thank you guys enough for the support you've shown, and we'll just keep growing from here. And equipment's gonna get better, content is gonna get better as I continue to take on your feedback. And of course, I'm gonna keep covering EA's bullshit as long as they keep bullshitting us, and same with any other publisher who tries to bullshit us, because I love gaming too much to see it go down in flames like this, And the saddest thing is that EA has so many great franchises that if they just apply themselves to taking the moral high ground, they could make amazing experiences. So, yeah, I think just EA needs new leadership. Anyway, I went off on a tangent there. Thanks for the question, YBEC. Yes, biggest month yet for YongYea, November 2017. Thank you all so much for allowing me to have this privilege. Jaybird says, Hey Yong, what is your game recommendations for this year, specifically games that came out this year? Yeah, Divinity Original Sin 2 is probably my top recommendation right now. I would get a Switch, honestly. It's worth it. For me, I feel. Zelda Breath of the Wild is stellar, simply amazing. Mario Odyssey, just all kinds of fun. And, yeah, Nintendo games just don't have any bullshit attached to them, or at least to the level that EA is doing it so far. So I'd say get a Nintendo Switch and immerse yourself in these games, because they're really, really great. I mean, it's honestly one of the best launch years in history. A new Zelda and a new Mario game in the same year, and then you've got Splatoon 2, which is so fun on top of that. I know it looks, it's so childish looking, but it's so deep, and it's like the Mario Kart of... What Mario Kart is to racers is what Splatoon 2 is to shooters. It's that balance of simplicity with a ton of depth once you dive into it. Same thing with how Smash Brothers is it's what Smash Brothers is to fighting games. You don't have to learn these crazy combos. It's just a handful of inputs that you can do to play the game, but then there's some deep mechanics behind that too. So yeah, Nintendo games, Divinity Original Sin 2. My nose itches really bad right now. Let me just Google 2017 games. Let's see. Wolfenstein 2 I hear is really good, but I haven't played it. Oh, of course, Horizon Zero Dawn. Open world awesomeness, fantastic. And yeah, Cuphead is a really good one. A great just shoot 'em up with a phenomenal art style. If you're into Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle I hear is actually really good. So, there's some good stuff out this year. I don't want to make it sound like it's been all doom and gloom for 2017, but it's just the rise of EA's egregiousness. And same with other publishers. Shadow of War was just kind of left a sour taste in my mouth with the way they added loot boxes in single player. It's just been a rough year on that front, but that's not to say that gaming is doomed. I think there's still great shit out there this year and beyond. So, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to keep fighting against loot boxes, because it might attract other developers to go that course, and I don't want that to happen. Let's see. Okay, Joseph Hunt. We have all been talking about loot boxes a lot. The thing is, we can all vote with our dollars and not buy games that have loot boxes. Are we making too big of a deal about this? No, we're not making too big of a deal about this. The problem with loot boxes is that a lot of us gamers are aware of it, but there are also a lot of casual gamers who may not follow gaming news that buy these games, for their kids or for themselves, and may not necessarily understand the kinds of predatory systems that are at play, especially with Battlefront 2, which is one of the biggest franchises in the world and does appeal to younger people. So we have to make a big deal about this to keep people informed at the very least. And that the problem, I think, is that the reason I think EA's systems are predatory is because they're so, I don't want to say subtle, but underhanded. So a lot of people might not know going into these games what they're getting into. And that's an unfortunate reality, and that's why I think this backlash was so important, because you've got sites like CNN and just all the big ones, Washington Post, and they all covered it, and now more people are aware now than ever before, and I even know some non-gamer friends that know about this stuff, which is bizarre. And that, I think, is a big message. I think that's very important, so that EA or other publishers will be less tempted to pull this shit. We have to ensure that they have to jump through as many hoops as possible to be able to implement stuff like this, so that they'll be less encouraged to do so. So I don't think we're making too big a deal about this. I think that this level of discussion needs to continue, and I think that if EA won't back off and regulate itself, then the government will eventually jump in, and they'll start regulating games like they tried to do in 1994 with video game violence in games like Mortal Kombat. So unless like the ESA, the trading group for the video game industry, the ESRB, the self-regulators of the gaming industry, if they don't jump in there and do something about this and tell these guys to back the fuck off, then yeah, government is they're coming, they're marching in. And the sad part is that because the ESA is backed by, like EA is one of the members of the ESA, and I'm sure they have money to throw around to lobby and influence the direction of the gaming industry. So, yeah, I think there's a good reason why the ESRB was so quick to defend EA and their predatory loot boxes, saying that they're not gambling, because they have a stake in it too. They like how much money the gaming industry is making with these predatory practices. So, yeah. Are we making too big of a deal about this? No. In my opinion. When does Disney... Love Sniping says, when does Disney give EA a spanking for all this bad press about Star Wars just before the new movie? I don't think Disney's innocent in all this. I'm pretty sure Disney had some inkling of what the hell was going on with EA's Battlefront 2 game. They're not going to just hand off the biggest franchise that they have and just say, okay, you guys do whatever you want, we'll leave you alone, and let me know when it's ready. No, they're going to look at this game every step of the way. They knew about the microtransactions and loot boxes. The difference is that Disney actually gives a damn about their reputation, EA not so much. So Disney's like, oh shit, this backlash is a lot more than we thought. Okay, EA, let me call you up. Yeah, Andrew Wilson, you need to solve this. We're not liking the way you're handling this. You're giving our star player a bad name. You got to back off, retreat, group up, and then come back with a better solution. So I think EA was, more than anything, just taken aback and a little scared about the backlash. But I think they are complacent in the implementation of these mechanics. It's just once people started... once the uproar started, that Disney's like, whoa, okay, we should do something about this. So I don't think Disney's innocent. And the only reason that they called up EA was because of the bad name that EA was giving to Star Wars. Not necessarily because they actually care about the gambling stuff, about the core of the issue. LJ O'Neill says, yo to you, friend. Love Sniping. Also, hi, Yong. How's things going, buddy? It's going pretty well. I actually feel pretty good right now. Yeah, it's a great month as a YouTuber. I got some sleep last night, and I took a nap, so I actually feel like I have a lot of energy right now. Actually got back from doing a bit of a voice-over session for a game that I'm in. It's not a big game or anything, by the way. It's a fairly small indie game, but I love doing voice acting, so it's an awesome opportunity, and I had a lot of fun doing that. So yeah, all things considered, it's been going pretty great. LJ O'Neill says, it's Alpha here, the YAB manager. So in the Discord chat that we have for the patrons, one user, anytime someone joins in on Discord, they'll be so on point with the yabs, which is a dab done by me, which is this shit. So yeah, that's what they're referring to. I don't dab often. This is probably the second time ever that I've done it. The first time was during the first live stream when the yab was screen captured and now is turned to a GIF and shared on the Discord server anytime joins in. I don't do that shit often. I frankly don't understand why that's such a funny thing, or why. Man, I'm getting old. You're getting old when you are beginning to get confused about why certain things happen with a certain generation. I don't understand the concept of dabbing, and it's kind of freaking me out. Am I getting old? Whatever. Love sniping. Hashtag hit him with the yab. I just did that, so congrats on that. Love sniping. What do you think about EA's recent comments on how people don't like linear games as much as they used to? Yeah, I'm gonna call bullshit on that one. That's what they like to tell themselves to... You know, it's not that we don't like linear games, it's just EA doesn't like linear games because it just doesn't make them as much money. That's all really there is to it, but no, that's entirely false. A lot of single-player titles have been selling remarkably well. You just need to make a good game that's well-marketed and appeals to a crowd, any kind of crowd. You can sell millions with single-player games and make a decent amount of money. Sure, you're probably not going to make as much money as the uncapped monetization model of predatory loot boxes, but it's about the moral high ground. Do you want unlimited money, or do you want a balance of making money and pleasing your community? And EA has clearly relayed their answer on that. But yeah, no, I mean, Divinity Original Sin 2, I think, sold really well. Didn't make as much money as, FIFA, sure, but it made them the money that they needed to keep the lights on and to pay everyone and to make the next game. So it's been a successful venture, even if they didn't make all the money in the world. And yeah, I mean, Nintendo games have been doing really well. Zelda sold pretty well. Mario Odyssey, I think, is the best-selling or the fastest-selling Mario game ever. At least for the 3D ones. Mario Kart 8, which is like single-player / co-op multiplayer. Or, no, it's competitive multiplayer, but, it has online and local. That sold really well. So, if you build up a franchise and you maintain a loyal fan base and you treat them right, they'll buy your shit. And I think Nintendo is a great example of that. I think, like the Zelda franchise, it's been consistently great. I mean, obviously there are varying opinions on which game is better than which, and some people like certain Zelda games more than others, but there's not, in terms of Nintendo-made Zelda games, there's not one that's insulting in any way, that's bad even. They're all, like, different from each other. There are no rehashes in Zelda. Same with, I think, the 3D Mario games. So, no, if anything, especially this year with the microtransactions and loot boxes issue, people miss linear games, single-player games, more than ever, which is why I was so excited for Visceral Star Wars game until that was scrapped, and now it's being turned into EA's own Frankenstein of a title, and they're making it into the games as services type of thing. It's just what EA is doing with the amazing franchises that they have is simply, it's utterly depressing. Ryan Van Schack asks, "Hey Yong, with the mainline Pokemon game being made for the Switch, do you think that there will be any changes to the formula of past titles in the series, given the capabilities of the Switch?" Oh yeah. I don't think they can just... I think we'd all be very disappointed if they just took the game and then or they took like Sun and Moon and then they just ported it over, just made Pokemon Stars and then they just upped the resolution of the graphics but kept everything fundamentally the same. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think with the Joy-Cons, the Switch practically comes built in with 2 controllers. I think they could do some interesting stuff with that. Maybe implement like a Pokemon Stadium style set of mini games that 2 people can play together. Obviously, it's going to have a lot of the portable elements from the dedicated portable Pokemon games. You can trade and all that stuff. That's certainly going to be there. I think the presentation is going to be a lot more ambitious with the capabilities of the Switch. It's a pretty powerful console for such a little guy. And I'm not too versed in the Pokemon meta or whatever, the mechanics and I'm not like a pro player of that, but they've made a lot of improvements over the years to make it less grindy, make the experience less grindy to achieve a certain goal. And I think they're going to continue that trend with the Switch version. I'm really excited about this one, actually. You know, I don't buy every Pokemon game, but I think every second generation I'll dip my toes into Pokemon, and I always have a good time. And I remember how much I used to love Pokemon Stadium. So, and I hope it's not just like Pokemon Stadium. I hope there is like an open world, and you go to gyms and do battle and you walk around and all that. I think it's going to be like that, obviously. They already said it's going to be a full Pokemon game, but yeah, it should be interesting to see what the capabilities of the Switch allows for the Pokemon franchise to do. You know, will there be some shared world elements? You know, I think that'd be really cool if you met another player, kind of like Street Pass from 3DS, and they pop up in your game, and I don't know. God, I hate using the world or the word shared world now, because it just makes me think of like Destiny 2 and all the bullshit surrounding that, and you know, but I don't think Nintendo would ever implement microtransactions in a mainline Pokemon game. That'd be suicide. And yeah, I think Nintendo like has some morals that define them. They've never been insultingly egregious, at least to EA standards. They've done some. They're not perfect. They've done a lot of shit that makes you go, why the fuck? But it's never been like EA level of crap. Okay, LJ O'Neill says, I'm just gonna ask a lame question, but can I see that Zelda t-shirt? It looks awesome. Here it is. Yeah, it's from this Zelda Symphony concert. I ordered one of the shirts available, and it's pretty dope. It's got like all the mainline links in there, and it's beautifully just embedded into the shirt itself. I love it. With that out of the way, let's see. Yeah, Love Sniping points out Horizon Zero Dawn sold over 3.5 million copies. So that's a linear single-player game. Or not linear, but a single-player game with no microtransactions bullshit. That sold really well, became a big success. So, yeah. I don't think that linear games are going away anywhere. They're going to make less money, but they make enough money that, you know, you should be able to, if you market it well and sell it well, you should be able to rely on it to push some units and push your studio to the next level. Okay. Mark Wong. Hey, Yong, long time watcher, and I thought I should finally join Patreon to give back. Well, thank you, Mark Wong. It really does make a big difference, your contributions, and it just motivates me to keep doing what I do, to push forward and to better myself as both content creator and individual. So honestly, thank you so much. I don't remember what it was about, but I remember thinking it was hilarious and I could never find the video again. What was that video? Or is this something that would never see the light of day again? Wait, what? Oh, sorry. I started in the wrong part of the question. Okay, so finally joined Patreon to give back. One question. Back when you used to do Troilers, I sort of remember a video where at the end it cut to like you and a family member or something. I don't remember what it was about, but I remember thinking it was hilarious and I could never find the video again. What was that video? Or is this something that would never see the light of day again? Haha. Anyway, keep up the great work and congrats on 345,000 subscribers. Thank you for the kind words. I think the video that you're referring to is it was about Xbox One. It was after Sony released the how to share games on PS4 video. And the video just showed one dude handing the game to another and said, it's that simple. This was back when Xbox had, Don Matrick was in charge. It had DRM and all this bullshit. Lending games was a pain in the ass type of process and all that. So I made fun of that in this little skit that I did. I guess the one way you could find that is you go to my channel and search Xbox, and there should be a thumbnail of me in these just a really low quality video, but it's me and then my brother and my dad, and we did a little skit. We did 2 of them actually, and I forget exactly what it's called, but you should be able to find it if you look for YongYea. If you go to my channel, go to the search bar, type Xbox. The thumbnail should make it pretty clear. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that, and yeah, I mean, hey, at least Don Matrick was ousted. Phil Spencer came in, and I think he single-handedly saved Xbox from total doom. Obviously not selling as well as PS4, but it could have been much worse. And now I think Xbox is in a much better place. It just needs games. That's the only thing that I'm looking for right now. I really do want to get an Xbox One X because it's such an awesome piece of hardware, but just not enough games for me to make that commitment. Jaybirds, what are your hopes for the Metal Gear movie? Interesting. What are my hopes? God, I don't know, honestly. I don't know what my hopes are. There are so many ways this movie could play out. Jordan Vogt-Roberts seems really invested in the Metal Gear series. Like, he actually seems like a genuine fan, not like some wannabe. Like, he fought to get the script and to make this movie. He fought for it. And I think that already says a lot. So one of my hopes is obviously a good director, and I think Jordan might be the right director for this. I guess my biggest hope is that it captures the mood of Metal Gear. Metal Gear has a certain mood that's so distinct to Kojima, and Metal Gear Solid in particular probably has my favorite atmosphere out of all the Metal Gear games. Just everything from the snowy setting to the metallic nature of everything surrounding the facility, the music, the tone that sets, the visual palette, everything about the mood of Metal Gear Solid was just immaculate. And I think if Jordan Vogt-Roberts can capture that, that's already a step in the right direction. I hope they cast a good Solid Snake. I mean, that's without saying. I don't want an actor to go hard on the voice, to be like, "This is Snake, Colonel, can you hear me?" I think they can do that, but subtly, much more subtly. I don't want Solid Snake to be like, "Hey guys, I'm Solid Snake, huh? How do you do? You're pretty good." That shit would be atrocious. Obviously, keep it close to the Solid Snake voice. You don't have to make it exact, but if you can find the right balance so that it works in a movie, so it doesn't come off too hammy, yeah, that'd be great. So nail Solid Snake, nail the atmosphere of Metal Gear Solid, and be faithful. Don't pull like a Death Note and change the whole premise. Actually understand what Metal Gear Solid is about, and to that end, realize that vision. I understand that with the limited space you have with a movie format, obviously the director is going to have to make some compromises. What characters should be included, who shouldn't. And that's fine. I'm fine with that. Just keep the heart of Metal Gear needs to be there. Which is what like Death Note lost. They didn't understand Death Note at all, and it just went for just something completely bonkers. Yeah, so that's it. So nail the atmosphere, nail the heart of Metal Gear, and find a good Solid Snake. Would be my top 3 for now that I can think of, I guess. Let's see. Love sniping. How hyped would you be if Keanu Reeves was cast as Snake. Oh, man. You know, it almost makes sense because here's the thing. I don't think Keanu Reeves is a good actor per se. I think he's just an endearing actor, which is not a bad thing. Like, I love Keanu Reeves. I don't think he's Oscar winning by any stretch of the imagination, but there are certain things that suit Keanu Reeves so well that it's perfect. Like, Keanu Reeves isn't a dynamic actor, but he's a specific type of actor that works really, really well for certain roles. Like, I thought he was brilliant in John Wick, and he didn't give an award-winning performance, but it's just that stoic nature was perfect for the kind of actor that Keanu is. And Solid Snake is actually pretty, he's pretty stoic. So I feel that could work, you know? That's actually not a terrible idea. My main concern is Keanu is, like, he doesn't age, but he's starting to look older, you know? And I don't know if he's too old to play, like, a young Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid 1. But I wouldn't be, honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't be too against it. It could be interesting. It's an interesting prospect. Huh, Keanu Reeves. Didn't think about that one. But, yeah, I think he's too old at this point. I mean, he looks great for a man in his 50s, but you can tell he's not young. So, let's see. Jaybird says, Tyler Seth Parsley says, I think Joel Kinnaman would be a good choice. I actually don't know who that actor is, or I might have seen his face but forgot his name. Let's see. Yeah, Jaybird says, how badass would a Psycho Mantis scene in the movie be? I'm actually really concerned about that because one of the reasons Psycho Mantis was so memorable was the meta elements. And so I'm wondering, how is Jordan Vogt-Roberts going to break the fourth wall? And how is he going to do that in a movie format? He's already confirmed that he is playing with ideas, but how he executes those should be really interesting. But yeah, I hope... Psycho Mantis has to be in there, I feel. You can't have a Metal Gear Solid movie without one of the most iconic elements of it, Psycho Mantis. Revolver Ocelot has to be there. Gray Fox has to be there. Yeah, and I think those are like my top 3, and Sniper Wolf would be a nice addition as well. You know, I love Sniper Wolf. I feel like Vulcan Raven is one of the more secondary characters that I could see Jordan kind of saying we can't fit him in. Decoy Octopus has a pretty small role, so as much as I love Decoy Octopus and all the conspiracy theories he brings in, I could see that potential, that element, the Decoy Octopus, Donald Anderson body double thing being cut, maybe. We'll see. But Psycho Mantis, that's a big one, and it'll be compelling to witness what he comes up with to make that scene stand out in the movie as much as it did in the game. YBEC, Meryl, or Scarlett Johansson as Meryl would be awesome. That's an interesting idea. That could work, you know? Yeah, actually, I could kind of see that. But, yeah, we'll see. I think there's numerous actors that would work for Meryl. Scarlett Johansson is, that could be a good choice. I like Scarlett Johansson. I don't know. I feel like actors just, when they're up and rising, they get all the love, and then once they peak, and they become really famous, they get all this hate that I just don't quite get. I think Scarlett Johansson occasionally gets similar type of, like, she's so overrated type of comments, but I think she's fine. I think she's great. And I'd be interested to see her as Meryl. That'd be cool. Joseph Hunt, how hyped would you be if Ryan Gosling played Snake? He never says anything. He just looks at the camera and emotes. You know, after watching Blade Runner 2049, that's actually not a bad idea either. He pulled off the stoic... You know, that's interesting. Solid Snake is kind of like a replicant, if you think about it. You know, he's sort of this artificially manufactured, enhanced soldier who isn't quite as human, who ages faster than normal humans do. And he's a bit less, like, human than Big Boss. And Ryan Gosling, having played a replicant in Blade Runner 2049, might be a good choice, actually. Although, you know, I would hope he can sound less like Ryan Gosling. I don't think Ryan Gosling's voice would suit Solid Snake, but his demeanor, and his general look, I think could work. Good. That's a good suggestion. That's something to think about. Let's see. I got an idea, and I've already read that. Wait, no, I have not read that. Sonic Shuffler. I got an idea. When Psycho Mantis shows up in the movie, the screen freezes and you have to walk out of the theater and into the next screen to watch the rest of the movie. That'd be interesting. I don't think they'll ever do that. It takes the resources it would take to pull that off would be astronomical, and Metal Gear isn't big enough of a Hollywood franchise, Hollywood IP for them to agree to that. Not gonna happen, but I like the thought that went into that. Love sniping. I mean, you could cast the guy who played Frank Castle in The Punisher and Daredevil Season 2. I don't know. I'm less keen on that one. I don't know why. Maybe I just haven't seen enough of the actor to see what his range is like, but he's too... I don't know. It could work, actually. It could work. He has the voice. Certainly. Actually, might not be that bad. That's actually not a bad... You know, when I get presented with actors, my immediate reaction is, not enough Solid Snake, but then I think about it and I go, actually, could work. I feel like this is, of the three, between Keanu Reeves, Ryan Gosling, and the guy who played Frank Castle, I feel like, the guy who played Frank Castle might be... Actually, I don't know. It's kind of growing on me now. He has, like, a good range. Like, his acting, I think, is phenomenal in Punisher. I don't know. All three are good candidates. I don't know anymore. I don't know who'd be the best candidate. Joseph Hunt, what's your favorite scene from Metal Gear Solid 1? It's a tough question, because there's a lot of good scenes. Sniper Wolf's death scene is obviously just classic. The entirety of the Psycho Mantis battle is kind of blew me away at the time, because there was nothing like it. Revolver Ocelot and his gun spinning. I mean, that kickstarted a whole new meme within itself. My favorite one, though? I don't know. I don't know. Because each one struck me in its own unique way. Like the Gray Fox hallway scene, just fucking, you know, that kind of blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Who is this guy? I want to find out. I think as a kid, Gray Fox was probably my favorite character. Just such a badass. And just, yeah, I liked Gray Fox even more than Solid Snake as a kid. And I might still. So I'd say for now, from the time that I played Metal Gear Solid for the first time, all the Gray Fox scenes really stuck out to me. The hallway scene in particular. And the boss battle was fantastic. But in terms of emotion, yeah, the Sniper Wolf one is up there. And in terms of just mind-blowing what the fuck is happening, Psycho Mantis. I'll take a couple more questions. I think it's almost been an hour. Jewel says, gotta miss those times when you covered Metal Gear Solid 5. Trust me, I miss those times too. I could go to YouTube being excited for a new video from Yong. Now not so excited because of the loot boxes stuff, and that's understandable. For a lot of people who tuned into my channel for Metal Gear content, obviously not much of that is happening anymore, especially since Kojima has moved on from that and Konami is running Metal Gear into the ground with Survive and all this other shit. Yeah, I appreciate your candor and honesty. Hopefully you're looking forward to Death Stranding and coverage I'll do on that. Jual continues depressing stuff, but always love to watch your videos no matter the subject for over 3 years. So yeah, thanks. And, I appreciate the Patreon support that you've given me, despite the fact that my content may have moved in a direction you may not particularly be fond of. But, hopefully with Death Stranding, we'll eventually get back on track to talking about exciting game content and game news. I definitely miss those days as well, trust me. But for now, I feel like it's my duty to keep relaying the bullshit that's going on, so people are informed and aware before they make decisions like buying a game, which is I think it's $60, which is a lot of money for most people. So for now, I'll have to keep staying this course until something changes in the industry, because the past few months it's just been the worst. It has been depressing, not gonna lie, but the recent backlash against EA kind of lifted my spirits and made me go, hey, there's hope. We can make a difference, so. Jaybirds, do you plan on finishing your playthrough of Snatcher? Hearing you voice act the characters was a lot of fun, and I'd love to see how it ends. I'll think about it. It's just, it didn't get that many views, and it was a big time investment, and it's just been too busy for me to focus on anything else. But I also had a lot of fun making those videos and live streaming the Snatcher playthroughs and voice acting with, doing the stupid voices for the characters. And I am curious to find out what happens, because I think it's a great game, great story so far, and really compelling setting, and clearly inspired by Blade Runner and various works of cyberpunk, which I love cyberpunk so much. So I'll think about it. Thanks for bringing that up. Tyler Seth Parsley, if you could pick one Star Wars character to star in their own single-player game, something along the lines of an Uncharted or Horizon, who would it be, and what genre of game would it be? Obviously Boba Fett is like a classic. I think there is a bounty hunter game, actually. Hold on. Star Wars Bounty Hunter. I remember that was a game. That was a thing. Let's see. It says here, plot. Okay, so it tells the tale of Jango Fett. So that does exist. Yeah, that just, I guess, I haven't played it, so I wouldn't know how good or bad that was. But, yeah, that's a good one. But I would, Force Unleashed obviously starred a Force user, a Jedi, or was he a Sith? I don't know. I haven't played that game, so I don't really know the full story. But he was a Force wielder, lightsaber, and just fucking unleashed all hell. That was kind of cool. So I guess we already had our fill of a Force wielder single player linear game. So what would be another good character? I don't know. That's a good question. All I know is that the Projekt Ragtag, what Visceral was working on, was like in line with what I would want. It's just like a ragtag band of people with their own skills, and it was gonna be like, I think it was like, I don't know if it was gonna be a heist game per se, but it was going to be like action adventure with heists involved in there somehow. Yeah, that would have been great. But I don't have a specific answer for you right now. There's just so many characters in the lore of Star Wars that I can't give you a definitive answer, except that Projekt Ragtag sounded awesome until EA killed it and are now making it into their own image. Okay, I think I'll answer one more. Love sniping. One last one. What you gonna do when the Irishman comes for you? Depends. If they're violent, I'll defend myself. If they're nice, maybe we can be friends. I don't get the question. Is that a reference to something? That's my answer, I guess. Let's see. Sonic Shuffler. Ever heard of the comic series Knights of the Old Republic? Zane Carrick would be great protagonist for a Star Wars game. I've heard of the Knights of the Old Republic, the KOTOR games. Yeah, I don't know Zane Carrick, actually. I'm mainly familiar with the mainline Star Wars stories. I haven't read the books that are not canon anymore. I watched the Clone Wars cartoons. Those, oh my god, that was awesome. From Cartoon Network. Just Mace Windu was just so badass in that. Grievous, General Grievous was genuinely terrifying. And then they fucked that up with Revenge of the Sith. But yeah, I still can't answer that. There's just too many characters. Let's see. Okay, I'll answer one more, because this is a good question. LJ O'Neill, my last question. What plans do you have for your channel for the future, like the next few years? Here's the thing. I don't know. I genuinely don't know, because plans always change with the tides of the gaming industry. I want to keep covering games, obviously. That's set in stone. But, you know, I initially thought I'd be covering Metal Gear pretty much forever. And look what happened there. And now the big thing for my channel has become the coverage on gaming industry bullshit. And I'm sure I'll cover that for a while, but, you know, who knows what else will come my way that will make me go, I want to talk about that and find success in that. Anything could happen. I literally have no freaking idea what the next few years look like for this channel. You know, I guess the one thing is I want to remain consistent in the quality of the content and being communicative with all of you, being honest and learning from my mistakes, because God knows I've made mistakes throughout my YouTube career. I want to stay humble. I want to keep covering games. I want to keep doing what I do and see where this journey takes us together. And the direction of my channel will be influenced by, obviously, your feedback as well. Just the general audience of this channel, the fan base, this community. You guys will have a big say in where that goes. You know, I would have stopped the loot boxes coverage if people just got sick and tired of me talking about it every day. And for some people, that's been the case, but for the most part, the reception that I've been getting is thank you for keeping us informed on the bullshit. So that strongly enforced the current direction of the channel, which is to stay this course and fight this battle for the soul of gaming. That may sound pretentious, but sometimes it can feel like that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And obviously I'll continue covering Kojima Productions content. Death Stranding, I'm still hyped for that, and that's a big game that I want to cover all the way through. Cyberpunk 2077, also just, I'm super excited about that because I love Cyberpunk as a genre so much, and for a studio like CD Projekt RED to be helming this, it's a dream come true. Hopefully the studio will improve their working conditions. Obviously, I'm not condoning that they should treat their employees like shit at the cost, if it means making like a phenomenal game. I'm all for a phenomenal game, but if you can have the best of both worlds, treat your employees right, optimize your development process, and get these games out on time at a good quality, hey, win, 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 right? And I think that's it. It's over an hour now, and this has been a lot of fun. I hope I answered your questions. Sorry if I rambled. I tend to do that when I go unscripted. I just keep talking and talking nonstop. But thanks for asking such interesting questions, making me think about things that I would normally not think about. And I will keep thanking you for your incredible support on Patreon or just by watching my videos. I truly do feel privileged, especially this year, especially the past few months, where my channel has grown tremendously. I feel truly privileged to be in this position, to be able to have so much fun with you guys, to be able to be in a position where I can have an influence on gaming coverage and all that. And I feel like the luckiest guy alive right now. It's been such a good time. And I honestly, you know, when I first started this, I never conceived I'd ever get this far. You know, I figured, you know, after I get to 100,000, there we go, that's it. It's my dream come true right there. But we're now up to almost 350,000, and we're still going up, and it's surreal, you know. I thought I'd get used to this, but it's crazy that I'm here now, doing this at this level. But I'm also excited, and I'm proud of myself and you guys. And I'll keep at this with a humble mindset. I hope I never get too greedy. I hope I never lose sight of what really matters. And I hope you guys will keep me at bay, you know, whenever I try to pull some bullshit, which I hope I'll never do, and I'll obviously do my best to never deceive you guys, or I don't know where this is going. Anyway, Joseph Hunt, his last comment says, "Now go take a dump." I will most certainly do that. Thank you for tuning in, folks. I'll look forward to the next one. I hope you do too. So I guess, I don't know if I should host one during New Year. I feel like most people will be busy doing their own thing. I'll take some feedback on that, and we'll see what happens with that. But I'll see you in the next Q&A. And with that, I will see you next time. Yong out.